racism comes from minority communities. Minority communities, and the left especially, are incapable of handling it. And I'll give some examples of that. When Louis Farrakhan, who's the leader of the Nation of Islam, comes out with anti-white...
Why is it always Farrakhan that comes up? Why is it always that first?
That's what Raj approached me with. So I just
let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
So when he calls Jews termites, when he says that Hitler was a great man, when he calls white people devils, that's a form. Yeah, so if you go on my YouTube channel, Israel Advocacy Movement, I've got a few videos with quotes of Farrakhan saying all of these things.
Farrakhan talking about.
What are you talking about, Farrakhan?
Okay, can I make a point before people jump in? And then, if people don't like what I'm saying, at least let me finish it, and then we can discuss it. So, when organisations like the Nation of Islam or members of the Muslim community express anti-Semitism in the UK, or when members of the Afro-American or black community or Asian community express Jew hatred, the left is incapable of dealing with it. The left goes silent. The left is supposed to be anti-racist. They're not anti-racist, they're anti-right-wing racist. When racism comes from other minority communities, they're silent. Similarly, if Jews are racist against other minority communities, the left is silent.
What is racism?
So let me extend that. That's a good question. So racism, you would imagine, is limited to racism. So I'm going to extend that to Islamophobia, anti-Semitism. I would say.
I'll try to explain to you.
When you're finished, then
you have the notion that racism was white people coming to the shores of Africa and saying things about us and they don't like us.
That's what you said. I didn't say that.
No, but that wasn't what racism was, mate.
I didn't say that.
Well, let me tell you what racism was. Racism was when white people called us 3/5 of a human being. Yeah, but that wasn't what racism was. That was a prejudice and an opinion that they had. Yeah,
that's horrible.
Is
that any different to calling a Jew a termite?
Listen. Yeah, the racism wasn't white people saying that we was 3/5 of a human being. They wasn't racist at that point. They had a prejudice. They had an opinion, and they was entitled to it. When they used this prejudice to come and do something called chattel slavery, which is the greatest crime to humanity, 500 years of oppression, yeah? And when they used that 3/5 of a human being to create mass genocide, yeah? And make people lose their name, their language, their folkways, their moreways, their culture, where they used a system to do stuff like butt breaking, where they would rape men, where they would rape boys, where they would rape little girls. So when they used it to create an institution that held down those people, this was racism. And unfortunately, my brother, all of these minorities, no matter what opinions they've had, they've never actually done that. They've never actually set up an institution. So you're talking about prejudice, with the not racism.
Respect with the greatest respect. What I'm going to point out to you is racism can affect more than the black community. So the Jews, who've just been compared to termites by Louis Farrakhan, were massacred, 6 million of them in the Holocaust. What you described, the African slave trade, was horrendous. It was immoral, it was racist, it was horrible. Yeah? No one.
How long was the war? How long was that Holocaust?
The Holocaust itself was a very short period of time. But the oppression of the Jewish people went on centuries and centuries and centuries.
How long was that Holocaust? How long?
So it was from the late 30s to 45.
So it's about 50 years.
One of these nods called Council of Nicaea is one of the most anti-Semitic things. So he basically said that Jews will run out of 88 countries, and that basically he was justifying the Holocaust on these guy's channel. So there's a double standard when it comes to racism on this channel with RASPECT Rebellion.
What RASPECT
is anti-Asian, anti-white, anti-Semitic, but nothing else. So this is what I'm calling out.
What RASPECT is doing, he's trying to create a definition of a word to distract the conversation. Can I ask one simple question? Is it wrong to call Jews termites? Whether you call it racism or whether you call it something else, is it wrong?
Yeah, people might not accept the Jewish claim.
No. Simple question, RASPECT. It's a yes/no answer. Is it wrong to call Jews termites?
Depends who you're talking about. So, for example,
it's okay to call humans.
One minute.
Let me explain. Is it okay to call blacks termites?
Listen, let me explain. Yeah?
This is the hypocrisy of RASPECT.
Let me explain. One minute, let me explain.
You can be racist
The
to
black
others,
people,
but not to
the
black
black people who worked with the Indian people that was like RAJ with the British colonialists to enslave their own, they are termites. Every single one of them black people are termites, and they're meant to be called termites. Now with the Jewish Holocaust, one minute. With the Jewish Holocaust, which was 15 years, with the Jewish Holocaust, which was 15 years, there was no black people, 6 years. Oh, okay, 6 years. The 6-year Jewish Holocaust, which black people was not actually a part of oppressing them Jews. That was a white German, that linked up with Mussolini, an Italian white person as well, But when you're talking about our slave trade, unfortunately there was Jewish people involved, paramount at the top of our slave trade, and even right now in the world, as you know, there's something called Zionist and Zionism, and people at the top of the system,
So, you know a guy called Council of Nicaea on his channel, so Jews have been kicked out of 88 countries, and all the prophets of those countries, he said that the Jews fleeced those countries, stole from those countries, and they were kicked out. No one condemned him on the channel, but when anyone says anything about, even this morning, people are calling Asian people kabaddi men, kabaddi this, kabaddi that, And so what I'm trying to say is that racism and prejudice should be condemned on all fronts. But for some reason, it's okay to be anti-Semitic on each channel. It's okay to be anti-white, anti-Asian, but everything else against black people.
So you just ignore what I said.
Let me say, one time I said the black magic, the word black magic, and a man jumped out my throat for saying black magic. But another man said to me, Indians all eat each other, and it was cool.
Oh, are you gonna lie through your teeth? When a man said that Indians shit in the streets,
Indians all eat each other.
When a man said Indians shit in the streets, Raspect said that I told my brethren that in that country, in Africa, there's man that eat goat's balls, and I'd rather shit in the streets than eat goat's balls. So he pushes the one side agenda.
When someone said Indian all eat each other, I said nothing.
What do you mean this guy said nothing?
Can I ask a simple question?
To an Asian guy.
If myself,
he's Algerian, he's white.
If myself or a white guy or an Asian came along and said that blacks are termites, would you say in any context that's acceptable?
I don't think people, when people are talking about Jews, they're not talking about Jews. There's Jewish people who are against Zionism.
No, but they say Jews. No. So I'm saying, if I or someone else says
if you make a blanket statement like that, then yes.
It's wrong. Thank you.
Yes, 100%.
So why is it not the same with Jews?
What I'm trying to say
is... So why was Council of Nicaea allowed to rant for 45 minutes against Jews, but no one said nothing on the channel?
Even when you're using Louis Farrakhan, you have to understand that them man there are speaking in a very political paradigm. So they're talking about the Jews who are doing the corruption. They're talking about the Jews who were involved in the slave trade. They're not just talking about all Jews. They're talking about the Jews who are involved.
Is it true that
they're talking about the Jews who are involved? They're very specific what they're talking about.
There was the Nation of Islam that propagated that.
There's a guy on the channel, Council of Nicaea, said the Jews run the whole slave trade.
So guess what? There were Jews involved in the slave trade. There were Africans involved in the slave trade. There were Christians involved in the slave trade. There were Arabs involved. The biggest slave trade was the Arab slave trade.
There were Jews at the top of our slave trade.
Okay, who are these Jews? Respect, who are these Jews? Name them.
Okay, we're going to get into that.
No, the guy said... No. The guy said the Jews only... He said the Jews run the slave trade 100%.
I'm saying there were Jews involved in it, particularly Spanish and Portuguese.
Double standards, hypocrisy.
There's people that believe that
you also said that Jews control America.
Yeah, they said on there is that Jews control everything.
No one knows. In every institution and industry, you find Jewish people at the top.
Respect, guess what? You find white people, you find Christians.
No, but there's a certain...
Big up the Jews for being successful.
Name these Jews, Respect.
Big up the Jews for being successful. Let me say something. Don't be a hater. Yeah, you should be racist.
I tell you what, invite me to the show, Respect, and we'll do the show together. So this is kind of the point that Raj was making. When racism is directed at other minorities from minority communities, nobody says anything.
It's not racism, bro.
According to your definition.
What do you mean, fam? We're the one, fam. Can the rapist define what rape is? Can the rapist tell the woman what rape is?
Respect. You don't have a monopoly on oppression. You don't have a monopoly on oppression.
I'm asking a question. Can the person who committed the rape define to the woman what rape is? Or does the woman have to define what rape is?
That's not how English
So what
works.
we're saying is the people who defined what racism was, they left out their account that racism was not their opinion of us. The racism was institutions that they created to oppress us. So what we're saying is, until we create institutions to oppress you, we cannot be racist. Because we're saying their opinions was not what made them racist. Their opinions made them prejudiced. If they had their opinions and they didn't act on those opinions, there would have been no problem.
What happened in the Holocaust?
what happened in the
So what
Holocaust.
happened? It's a straight question. What happened in the Holocaust?
4 years, 100 slavery.
Fam, 4 years to 400 years.
What?
100 years.
4 years to 400 years, bro.
Okay, Respect, you haven't got a clue what you're talking about, mate.
Fam, 5 years to 500 years, bro. Do the
Okay,
math.
he's now saying that the Holocaust happened between 5 and 500 years.
Fam, King Leopold killed more people. King Leopold of Belgium killed more black people in Congo than Hitler killed of Jews. But you know why they didn't give a fuck? Because them people were black. Yeah? The only reason why they give a fuck about the Jews is because you're white. That's the only reason why. Because it was white on white crime. Look how many crimes all over the world, fam.
Respect.
Great Britain.
Do you know why they killed us?
The British
Do you know why?
Empire. The British Empire.
Respect.
The British Empire by 20 times outdoes Hitler's death toll. Outdoes the British Empire by 20 times outdoes Hitler's death toll.
Hold your tongue for 2
But
seconds.
why? Because
Hold
it's
your
by
tongue
people
for
of
2
colour they're
seconds.
killing.
Finish the sentence, Respect, man.
Ain't no white people they're killing. Yeah? They kill some white. Hitler killed some white people in white and white crime, and that's why you don't see it as more important than 500 years. 5 years to 500 years. And yet you got reparations. Yeah? And yet you've got Stamford Hill. You got all of these things, and yet what have we got?
We got Stamford Hill. You heard it from Respect. The Jews got Stamford Hill because of Holocaust.
No, reparations. You use the reparations money.